Hello one and all, and welcome to another episode of Baggers Chat. My name is Mitch Pattinson, and as always, we are joined by Ethan Daffy. And today we are previewing our round 3 clash, Carlton v the Western Bulldogs, Friday, 28th of March, 7:40 p.m. at Marvel Stadium. Our first Friday clash for the year, but we have had 2 primetime games, which is good to see. And now we actually have 4 in a row.
Yeah, I know.
Games, which is good to see. And then we obviously play the West Coast Eagles in the gather round. But first things first, mate, how are you? I think we've had a few days to kind of let last week slide a little bit. I think we're very much over it at the moment, but we always come back and see a new day and a new shed of light heading into the Dogs. But how are you, mate? And what are your initial thoughts?
I love how we're already talking about the light of day and the
fucking round 3.
Round 3. Not even round 3. It's round 2.
Oh yeah, round 2.
Yeah, it's even worse. I'm feeling good. It's always a cycle of a Carlton sport. You have a disappointing loss, and then you take a few days, and now I think we're going to win the game on Friday night. So, I'm feeling all right. There's obviously been a lot of talk around us. I think we both agree we were a little bit better last week, but we just didn't have the finishing touches, which seems to be an issue at the moment. But I'm heading in with a little bit of optimism heading into Friday night. But I want to see, obviously, the whole word intent and effort from Vossi. I feel like they're the minimums we need to be seeing. And if we see those and then add a few other layers in, I think we should be looking for a W.
Yeah, it's a massive game. And
yeah.
Yes, you said it's only round 2, heading into round 3, but it's something about that. Like, yes, we have the time to come back later on in the season, but it's not about coming back. It's more making a statement early in the season so you can set your season up. And now we're pretty much like looking at a potential 0-3 start. And next week we're heading into Collingwood, our arch rivals, which isn't a great way to move into the next week after a 0-3, and they're actually looking quite good as well. So, which frustrates me even more. But I'm just looking at it, and it's nervous because you said at the start of the season, I want to go to every single game knowing what we expect. And last week we kind of liked what we saw, but it was just the pressure. It wasn't really anything else other than that. We don't have a different game plan, and I will give them somewhat of a excuse. Yes, it was wet. That's probably the time to bang it forward. I understand that. So this week, and that's why I feel like we're both in the same mindset about this. Heading into this week, there are no more excuses. You can't blame the weather because there's a fucking roof over the game. So you can't blame the weather. There's no wind. It is purely down to the best. So, like whoever performs best on Friday night will come out with the 4 points. And I'm sorry, we are a better side than Western Bulldogs where we play at our best. But they have been playing actually half decent. They almost beat, like, in an absolute ripper game against the Pies on Friday night last week. They are playing quite decent. And last year, they were probably one of the best sides in the final series, heading into the final series. So they're obviously a good side, but I've just always said it. I don't think they should be a massive threat to us.
No.
Because we should be performing better than what we are so we can beat sides like this. And I'm not saying, and I'm not trying to be arrogant or anything. Right now, I'm not surprised if Dogs are favourites because we are playing like shit. But if we played really well the first 2 weeks, then we would probably be very hot favourites right now.
Yeah.
So it is so frustrating because the whole league know what Carlton can be, but we just never see it consistently, which is why it's extremely frustrating. But Daff, we're going to head straight into the injury list, and I have it right in front of me, a few names. I won't touch on all of them, but I guess just the names that are either a test or, I guess, important names that are due to come back in the next few weeks. And the first one we'll start off is Harry Mackay. He's a test from an illness last week. But as you said, apparently, we spoke about before we press record on the episode, and you were speaking about it's actually is quite a serious illness, and he actually has to train this week to make sure he's good to go. Like it's
Yeah.
not like it's an illness like a cold and he's good to go for the next week. He
Mm.
actually needs to show up a bit throughout the week training wise, or else he might not be able to play this week. So hopefully he's good to go. I'll mention Corey Durden. His ankle test. So he's a
Yeah.
test this week to play. But as you said, I think most likely he will probably go through the VFL. And Orazio 2 to 3 weeks away still with that calf injury. Very, very frustrating to see his name 2 to 3 weeks, even though it was meant to be a 1 week injury. But the one person that I'll touch on other than there's obviously a big list, but the one person that I will touch on, the one more person I'll touch on is Alex Chincotta, hip injury, 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So that is quite, I mean, hopefully by 4 to 6 weeks, like hopefully then we are in a better position defensively.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
if we are kind of lacking that defensive minded defender only, maybe Chincotta does come back into the lineup. But Daf, your thoughts on those 4 names, and if you want to touch on anyone else in the injury list, go ahead. But your thoughts and how big of a return is Harry Mackay?
Yeah, it's interesting one, Harry. Obviously the illness, it must have been bad enough. I did say to a few people, I said it better be bad enough, because I think that was a sort of game last week that he would have been excellent at. I know it was a wetter game, but I felt like the way the game was played, it was a kind of long down the line type game. I know Hawthorn obviously, cut us up a few times through their ball use, and we can't find a way to hit a short target. But he just would have been. It would have been nice to have him and Charlie, especially. I just saw back to the way we used Charlie last week. He clearly was underdone.
Yeah,
and we're playing him high up the ground. So just quickly steering away from the injury list at the moment. What's going through the mindset there? He's the best forward we've got, and he's not in the 50, Patto. What's like? I don't really get the mindset. His job, right? His main job, and they spoke about in the he spoke about in the press going, we want these games with Charlie to be not just his output being goals. I get that, but he's the only guy we've got down there. In terms of his impact is huge. What is he at the stoppage for? He looked knackered. He was tired. If he's not right, sit him 30, 40 metres from goal max. Anyway, I'll talk about that later, but that's just hit my head, and it's just frustrating. He's just frustrating, Patto.
Yep.
We lack to score goals. He's the type of guy in the last quarter, you give him a couple shots at goal, he wins you the game. I don't understand what they were doing. I just do not understand. But anyway, hopefully Harry's back. That'll be good to see them two for the first time together, and hopefully accompanying with Silvani up forward, and we'll look pretty dangerous with those three, I think. I just like that look. There's something about that three. I know we both talk about it, and we like that look of it. So, Corey Durden. And a lot of people would probably be going, let's just put him in. Let's just put him in straight away. I don't think he's probably at that level of player to bring him in straight away. And I feel like let's be real. If we're being serious, Charlie probably wasn't ready for last week. I think if Harry was right, I don't think Charlie would have played last week.
Okay.
I think they would have had the pre-existing, apparently it was through last week, Harry, and they probably thought, okay. Yeah, I think they had a kind of pre-existing thought that Harry wasn't going to play, so he almost got to force Charlie to play. I know, we all loved him back, but was he right? I don't know. I don't think so. But, you had to play him. But, yeah, with Dirds, I don't think you force him to go. I thought Jesse Motlop was much, much better last week. He ended up with 20 touches. And you could see when he was playing better, we looked so much better. We looked a lot better. So it was good to see. So Dirds in the twos for see how he goes, get him some form. And I think also with Cooper Lord, which is kind of a spoiler for my ins and outs, but I think a guy like that, really needs some twos and dominating the twos, and then he comes straight in with a bit of form. But yeah, and then Orazio. Orazio is just Orazio, Patto. I don't really want to go too deep into that. And, I think when he's fit, he won't come straight in.
No.
I know Vossi loves him and he probably will put him back in, but like, what are we at now? We're supposed to be winning games consistently. We can't be bringing guys in straight off injuries unless it's Charlie Curnow or Patrick Cripps. So it's that's it for me in terms of injury list talk.
Mm, there's just a certain name that I'm looking at on the injury list, and I know it's not counted as an injury, but yeah, he's obviously not available to play, and it's Elijah Hollands, man.
Mm, mm,
We were speaking about it before we press record on the episode. I understand it's personal reasons, so it's completely up to him. Like,
yeah,
it's frustrating because you don't want to speak too much about it because you don't know what he's going through. But he would be so handy right now.
yeah,
And he is that perfect player, the mid forward, where he
yeah.
can go forward and have an impact, but he can also go on the ball and have an impact as well.
Mm-hmm.
He can even go behind the ball and have an impact as
Mm.
well. So hopefully he is all right, and
Yeah,
hopefully he's
yeah.
he's not too far away from
Mm.
returning, because stuff like this you just don't know when they will return. Like it could be
Yeah,
he could be available this week,
yeah.
but
Well, he's training. He's training by himself,
which
which
is
is a
good.
good sign.
Yeah,
They still say he's a little bit far away. My estimate is about 3-4 weeks. I reckon.
yeah,
I reckon you almost come back, play him in a couple twos games, get his match fitness back.
yeah.
But like you say, you're spot on with that call in terms of, gee, it'd be nice now. He would be nice to roll through, even chuck him on a wing, even anywhere. He's just one of those guys that can fill a hole and not fill a hole, but just roll through a bunch of rolls and play it to a pretty high ability. But yeah, a little bit frustrating, but hopefully he's going okay.
Yeah, it's a very interesting one about Elijah Hollands, and I'm very optimistic to see. Hopefully, when he does come back, he will still have the same, I guess, football that he brought last year. But another name also about Nick Newman, and obviously he's done his patella, so he's not ruling it out completely, which is probably a good thing, and he probably has to do that to kind of give himself somewhat motivation to make sure that he does a rehab to have any sort of chance, like a Doherty last year.
Yep.
Just a chance potentially of coming back into the team in season 2025. But hopefully he does feature later on in the season. But it's a tough one at the moment to see. But I think that's all we'll touch on for the injury list. Because Daf, what we'll touch on now is the ins and outs, and I think there is actually a lot to talk about right here. Because not just only our ins and outs, it's how we both want to see the side differently this week. So last week we obviously saw Jack Silvani going into the forward line, which is probably something that we needed to do after Harry Mackay was laid out.
Yep.
If it was Lewis Young coming in instead of Silvani into the forward line, that would have been very very funny.
Yeah.
But it's so I want you to touch on your ins and outs with the sub, but I also, if you do have any players that you think could be out of position, that could be in a new position come this Friday. Obviously, we're not going to play every single player in a new position, but some players, like what you posted last night, Matthew Lloyd speaking about players like Ollie Hollands, Brody Kemp moving back, moving down back, Jack Silvani moving up forward, Sam Walsh, which is a player that we've spoken about a lot, having more space, and potentially him playing on a wing or half forward. So who are your ins and outs plus the sub, but also if there are any names like that you could see potentially changing their position slightly that are still in the side, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's a interesting week. There's been a lot of chatter, whether it's in Carlton forums on bloody Facebook or, up to the very top in terms of footy classified, like you said, which I agree with. I agree with Matty Lloyd, which is why I posted it. I just wanted to show everyone that that's exactly kind of our mindset, both of our mindsets, but also I think it's the right mindset. So I'll just go with my ins and outs, and then I'll explain what kind of moves I want to see. So my ins, Harry Mackay, I think he comes back in, obviously, straight in.
No, mate, VFL.
Gee, imagine him playing VFL. Gee whiz. It'd actually be a good watch, to be honest. I'd go and watch it. He would absolutely, well, if he's playing, if it's not an AFL side, maybe if you're playing like I don't know, maybe a Port Melbourne or something, you're playing against a part-time plumber, and he's playing imagine you just run him around. Like his ability would be phenomenal. So Harry Mackay playing up forward, obviously, and Jordan Boyd into the side. Played well on the weekend in the first official VFL game of the season. I think he ended up with 23, had 17 kicks, which is a nice day out for him off half back. A bit of leather poisoning for him. But yeah, nice to see him back in the side. There was always a bit of a weird kind of talk around him this year.
Yeah,
He hasn't
awesome.
really been injured, but hasn't been fit. I don't know, but clearly he's ready to go now, and he has to come in ASAP. And if he does not come in, I don't know what the mindset is going into Friday night's game. Outs, Lewis Young, nothing wrong with his performance on the weekend. Nothing. I thought his performance was great on the weekend. I thought apart from the first contest when he wasn't ready against Chol, clearly was not ready for that contest. But apart from that, he was really good. He halved the 1v1s all the time, hit the boundary line, did the simple things, which sometimes I just want to see from everyone.
Mm.
And we spoke about it when some guys just fly for marks all the time. Like sometimes you just want that reset, get the stoppage. And we're clearly always back in our stoppage game. So I don't know why we don't have confidence in our mids to win the stoppage. But anyway, that's another topic for another day. But yeah, Brody Kemp out for me. I think he can go back in defence, and that's where I want him to play. But I just think I'd like to see him have a few games. Clearly, they're committing to him playing forward. So if they are doing that, maybe play in the twos, kick a few bags, get some confidence, because clearly he's not having an impact on the game we'd like. Let's be real here. He was hard. I thought he actually battled hard on the weekend, but Patto is battling hard. You're going to be winning flags battling hard all the time? No. And clearly we were cooked in the last quarter. Apparently we ran it out well, Voss said, but we clearly didn't. We were cooked because we had to battle too hard. We were contested, pressure, too hard. Hawthorn were in first gear. They hit the next gear in the last quarter and overran us. So Kemp out for me, and the sub from last week, Cooper Lord, out. Nothing to do with his performance, just the whole mix of the team. And my sub, I have spoke about him in this episode. I hate debuting people as the sub, but he's got pace. I watched the highlights of the VFL on the weekend, spoke to people about him. He just, there's something about him. There's just something about him. He's got the energy. And I wouldn't mind him actually starting on the ground, but Will White will be my sub on the weekend. I like the look of him. He had 18 in a goal. We always talk about guys who can play quick as a forward, but also roll through the middle. And it seems to be we're rolling through guys that have a little bit of pace. I thought Zach Williams was very, very good in his stints on the weekend in the middle. He had 2 or 3 centre clearances. And then there was that one play where he ran out and he absolutely shanked a kick. But he's got that pace. I like to see guys like that in the middle. That's what good sides do. So Will White will be my sub because I think we need that energy in the last quarter or a second half because we just lack it. We've had Doherty as the sub and then we've had Cooper Lord. It's nice to have those guys, but are they going to bring the pace? Are they going to bring that energy in the last quarter, Patto? I don't think so. So Will White will be the debutant sub for me.
Yeah, a lot.
And also, I forgot to mention, I'm keeping Walsh in the guts to start, but I want to see him in the wing rotation, and I want to see Ollie Hollins on a wing, Boyd replacing his role. So it's I just want to see Ollie higher up the ground because he's getting his hands on the footy, which I'm liking. I'm really, really liking to see because I think the start of last year, he had that kind of second year blues, which is a normal thing to have. But now he's in a bit of form. I want to see that form turn into entries inside 50 rather than coming out of the back half.
Is there any change with Sam Doherty in his role?
I'm a little bit on the worried side with Sam Doherty at the moment. I don't know if the game's gone past him. I know it's early days to say that. But I think his role has to be in defence.
Yeah.
Some way or another. I don't know who he's replacing. I don't know. But I think we've got to find a way to have him in defence and kind of shore things up defensively because that moment where he dropped the mark, I sent that video to you on Instagram. It's worse the second time you look at it. But yeah, I'd like to see him in defence and just calm things down. He's that type of player. So
yeah, I like him. I like him a lot, especially what you mentioned about Sam Doherty. I think that's you've hit the nail on the head there, and I think that's exactly how I'm thinking about Sam Doherty. We need a mature head down there, and Adam Sard, I don't think he's doing the job in terms of leadership. We've obviously got Jacob Weedering down there, but I think we're going to go back to speaking about Nick Newman and how important he is back there, that leadership.
Yeah.
I don't think we have that. We can't rely on a Nick Haynes. We can't rely on a Cowan. We can't rely on a Sard and McGovern, like a Jordan Boyd who's coming back in for his first game for this year. I think having a guy like Sam Doherty down there, and then Ollie Hollins is obviously there as well, and he's doing a great job.
Yeah,
fantastic
100%.
job. And when I touch on my ins and outs, I will touch on how I want the team to kind of look, and there's a certain reason why. But so ins, Harry Mackay has to come back in. Maybe VFL. I'm just thinking maybe VFL definitely. Jordan Boyd, spot on. His ball use, I can't understand why he is. I don't know why he wasn't that type of player that he could be a little bit underdone, but let's just play him.
Yep.
Like, I hate that idea, but it's also like it is Jordan Boyd and his ball use is so important that I think you almost. I'm kind of like looking back at it. Maybe you don't do it, but Jordan Boyd and his ball use, I think, is what's really lacking in that defensive half, and that's I think exactly what we need. So I want him to get that 20 touches. Yes. I want him to be the main distributor off that half-back flank. I want him to be the guy that literally like a Lockie Whitfield, we use him to get ourselves up forward on the ground off the back of Jordan Boyd and his kicking. It's so underrated, I feel, and it doesn't get spoken about enough, I don't reckon, how good his ball use is. So Jordan Boyd in. Now, my last in might be a little bit, not controversial, but a little bit interesting because he didn't have a great VFL outing, but Ashton Moyer is in for mine. I just think he's a bit like Jack Martin when he plays into the VFL.
Yeah.
He's not a VFL
just goes through the motions.
That's how I do it, mate. That's my excuse when I played footy. You're just playing through the motions, even though I was playing thirds, mate. But Ashton Moyer, I just think he needs to be that player that just comes in, give our forward line a bit of a different look. And I just think that is the type of player that we are missing. We need that mid-sized forward who is skillful. He can do it all. Jack Martin, we are lacking that Jack Martin forward. And I think Ashton Moyer is probably, if not probably Elijah Hollins, really. It's those two that are probably most similar to a Jack Martin. And that's why Ashton Moyer, to me, needs to be playing this week. So I know he didn't have a great outing, but hopefully he is in the side this week. Now, my outs, Lewis Young, quite self-explanatory, very unlucky, but I just think it just doesn't suit that back line too well if he was to play. My other outs, you've convinced me a little bit. Brody Kemp.
Yep.
I love the idea about just giving him a chance to go back into the VFL, and whether it's down forward or down back, whatever.
Yep.
Get him right, because when he comes back in, he can then perform with a bit of match confidence. Yes, he's done preseason against his own side. Like, he needs a bit of experience against opposition to see how he goes. Yes, he kicked 4 goals last year against West Coast, whatever. He needs to have a bit of experience in a 3 or 4 week block. You are not playing senior footy until you get some confidence under your belt.
Yeah. So, and I think with Brody Kemp, I don't know if he's a lock in our best 22.
I don't think he is, no.
So that's also another reasoning for my drop. I don't think he's in our best 22. Especially, he could find a way if Haynes keeps playing the way he is. That I think though, it'd be between, like the McGovern. They're all kind of the same defensive type.
Yeah.
I only think Kemp can play forward if either Harry or Charlie aren't playing.
Yeah.
I don't think, and Silvani's up forward now based on our selection. But the good thing is, the only positive I have with Kemp training as a forward and Silvani playing down back, they both now can fill a position both sides of the ground. So, and I think that's actually quite underrated.
Yeah.
I think that's quite underrated because, sometimes the last year would go, we're down on forwards or we're down on defenders. It's like, nah, Silvani goes straight in there. And then you go, okay, someone else goes forward. So it's a good thing to have, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, no, spot on. I think, would you rather him down back or down forward right now in this point in time in the VFL? Kemp, would you rather him be continuing what he's learned over the offseason? Because there's it's quite clear in my mind, and I don't know about you, and I would love to hear what you have to say, but if he does go into the VFL and has that block, would you rather him right now be a forward or a defender in that time in the VFL?
That's a great question. It is a great question. I think he's a better defender. I'd love him to play down back. But then in my head, I'm going, well, if they're committing to him playing as a forward, and if he comes in and he has to be a forward, I'd rather him have that preparation as a forward. Because I think he's right if he goes down back. I think he's had that experience at AFL level playing defence. I know you can be a little bit rusty going in defence, but I think he's a defensive type player. He's that intercept mark guy. He's always flying for marks. Like the way he played on the weekend was like a defensive forward.
Yeah.
He was halving contests. So I think he's ready to play that defensive side. So play him up forward. And if he's not good enough in the twos playing forward, shift him down back. So that's what I love about having these guys who can play both roles.
You said it there, defensive.
Yeah.
It's quite clear to me, and I think like you can always just like if something like this is why it's early in the season. You can experiment something over the off season. We've seen that Jack Silvani is probably a bit more impactful up forward. He was great down back.
Yeah,
my God.
Yeah.
But we probably need him up forward more. So let's just see. And in a few weeks' time, if we say, we probably might chuck Kemp down forward, as you said.
Yeah.
Silvani and Kemp can be these two players that can be those guys that can come in, potentially play a role. But if they're playing down back, great. If they're playing down forward, it's not really like a stress either. Yep. So I think that's why it's really promising knowing that we've got two players like that. Because James Sicily can do that.
Yep.
Other teams have players like that. And we haven't really had players like that. And now that we've got two, like probably Jackson Martin will probably get in before camp at the moment.
Yeah.
I'm only speaking like shit this morning. I think it's just the sleeping, mate. But Jackson Martin probably gets in before camp at the moment. But if you have a guy like Brody Kemp playing in the VFL this year, well, maybe that kind of explains our depth, and it's actually not as bad as what we think. So that's why I think I would like to see him down back in the VFL. But also, as you said, forward, either or. I mean, either or, that's fine. But my other out, Lucas Camporelli. Stiff.
I don't mind it.
But there's a certain reason, and I'll touch on it. So sub, Cooper Lord, completely agree. I was considering maybe playing Brody Kemp, but I'm like, no, I want to play VFL.
That could be okay. It depends. Like if you're looking at it going, we need him in, and we have to find a way to have him in, and then you play him as a sub. Like, that could be,
I'm just thinking, and it's probably the exact same reason as Lord, realistically. But I'm just thinking like I would rather Kemp go into the VFL and learn his craft. But also, it's the same thing about Lord.
Yeah,
so it's either or. But I feel like right now sub Stiff, but Lord will be sub. Now, so how I'm seeing, so I've got the team list with the additions right in front of me. So
sweet.
I've got Ollie Hollands as the wing.
Yep, perfect.
Lloydie, I think Lloydie said it, or maybe we were speaking about it.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure, but his ball use is great. I think we need it ahead of the footy. Him kicking it into the forwards. If he's on the back pocket, kicking it to Cripps on the wing, yes, it's great, but I would rather have Hollands on the wing so he can kick it into Mackay in the forward pocket. Like it's. I love Hollands off the half back. But we now in my half back flank, I've got Sam Doherty playing as a half back, and it probably takes a bit of pressure off him. There's too much pressure in the forward line and midfield. But halfback, maybe Sam Doherty take a few kicks in. Take a few kicks in. See how you go. Get your confidence up and make sure that just. And he's an All-Australian defender. When you get older, like Dane Zorko, when you get older, you probably go a little bit more into the you probably want to have a bit more of a free role. And Sam Doherty can do that. Ball use is great when he gets the footy, and probably what we say about Sam Walsh, when he gets time to use it. When there's no pressure.
They're both very similar, I think, in terms of their ball use. Like when they don't have time, they slap it on the boot. And then sometimes that's a negative as well, and they sometimes probably have more time than they think, but they always think they're under pressure if they're playing in the guts. So when you have a little bit of time and you know you have that space, like you get the space like an Akers gets, you get a space like a Lucas Camporelli gets.
Yes.
They can use that to their kind of advantage.
Yeah. So I mean, I know that you touched on it a little bit, but do you think, because that's another experiment that Ollie Holland's playing off the halfback flank that might be kind of thrown out, but not necessarily thrown out.
No.
A change. And if we get to 2 weeks' time, if there's an injury in the back line, Ollie Hollands go back. It's fine.
Yep.
Like, you've learnt the craft now. You know what you're doing. And we spoke about Dylan Moore last week. He kept Dylan Moore to peanuts.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that. I could not believe. I was watching it going, he is defending. Like, this is what I want to see from our defense as a whole. And I think we defended okay last week. We're still letting some easy goals in, which frustrates me. I think we've got to be averaging the most in the goal square goals ever in the whole competition. I've never seen a team let in so many easy goals, right? But the way he defends, and it was the first contest against the Tigers when Armstrong was running at the footy and he jumps in front. That just gave me, okay, he's here. He's defense first. He is ball first. He wants to beat his opponent. Do not let your opponent win. Doesn't necessarily mean you win, but you're halving the contest. If we can just do that at the basic level as a whole, that will make it 10 times easier for us to win a game. 100%. And people, Voss talks about contests, and that's the contest I'm after. Those 1v1 50-50s, do not let them win. And the way he was defending against Dylan Moore, and even he was coming across at some points, like on the taller defenders. Like he would, so like obviously, the way McGovern was defending the other night, or Haynes, they kind of got out of the contest and they dragged themselves up. But Ollie Hollands was the last line of defense sometimes where he's coming across all the time, even if he doesn't win it, but he's there. So clearly, like you said, he knows his craft and he's ready to defend. But I want to see that sort of stuff as well higher up the ground. Off it, like we give up so many kicking goals as well. If you've got a guy like him on the wing that knows how to defend the way he defends, we don't have to see him in the last line of defense. We can see him in the middle of the ground, turn the ball over, Patto. And that in modern football, you want to turn over the ball as high up the ground as possible because that means you can score off it, Patto. And that what happens, it gives us opportunities for Harry and it gives opportunities for Charlie. It all adds up. And I don't think people realize that. Like you can defend high up the ground. You'd rather not be in the D50. And that's what I love about him. And like you said, you're not throwing out the idea of him playing defense. The same as Silvani. Exactly the same. People go, oh, we're just throwing it out. You can't just lose your ability to play in defense because you play it up forward one way. Jared Waite is an example. He was a swing man. He used to play in defense. Yeah.
Dogged.
But like you said with Sicily, he can go up forward for stints. I don't see the issue. And my issue is that we, in game, as a coaching staff, we don't throw stuff like that at teams where we switch someone up, putting a McGovern half forward, or he has the ability to play forward.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just little things that you don't have to make a big change, but just go, here, Gov, last 5 minutes of the second half, you're going forward. You're going forward. Let's see what they do. Let's see how they defend you.
Exactly. Did you just mention Mitch McGovern then?
Yes.
Yeah, so...
Like even last week when Charlie was playing high, why don't you just go, Gov, you just play out of the goal square for 5 minutes? Like...
We literally brought him over as a forward.
Yeah, but it's just like, little things. It doesn't have to be him. It could be
anyone. Weedering. Yeah. Well, not Weedering. Not Weedering.
You know what I mean? Like guys like that, it's just 5 minutes. Go Walshy. Like even midfielders go, okay, Cripper, we need to just change something. You're playing in the goal square for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Just change it up and see how the opposition change the way they play, and maybe it will work. And you go, fuck, we'll just keep you up forward, Cripper. They're struggling in the middle. Yeah. I don't know, but it's just. I'm not saying go Wiedering, play in the ruck, and Pitto play at half back. I'm just saying these guys who can have the ability to play forward.
I know. Charlie Curnow, Harry Mackay out, Nick Dugan forward.
Nick Dugan.
We're sweet.
Captain of the club, I'm told. Future captain of the club.
Mitch Robertson getting him in there as well.
I'll tell you what, I wouldn't mind a Robbo right now.
Yeah, God, show
underrated
a bit of
player, Robbo.
Show a bit of that C-U-N-T, mate. Like,
Yeah, he was good. I reckon he was a good footy player. People always thought he was just this hard nut. He was actually all right.
he was actually right. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one more thing I'll touch on before we head to our opposition watch is, so on the bench, I've obviously got Hewitt, Cottrell, Boyd, Moyer.
Yeah.
And I think Boyd can be instrumental in that back line because you've got Cowan, Wiedering, Haynes, Doherty, McGovern, Sard, or whether it's Hollands instead of Doherty, I don't know. But if I see a centre bounce, whatever, and it's Paddy Cripps, Sam Walsh, and Sam Doherty, and they put Adam Chera in the half-back flank, I am going to walk out of there at Marvel Stadium. I'm going to walk out. I probably won't, but I will threaten to walk out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to be fuming if I say that. Because Sam Doherty can be that midfielder, but just start behind the ball, mate. Be that defensive midfielder. That's fine.
Yeah. Play at the back of the contest like a sweeper.
I don't know why it's so hard to work that out. And that's why the question is, do you think there's any... Well, there has to be pressure on Michael Voss heading into this week. But if we lose the exact same way, there has to be pressure on Michael Voss. Would you agree?
Yeah, and all the coaching staff. Yeah.
Yep.
Has to be. But if the coaches set up the game well and the players just can't execute, then that's a different story. But it's just, I like what you say. Like, it's just, if we lose that same way, if we're in the contest, like in the game, and then just can't execute going forward or let easy goals in or just little patches, then I don't know where to go from here. But and in terms of the midfield, there was a stat yesterday that I think Cripps has already had more time as a ruckman than last season. Or something like at this time of the year or something like that.
Oh, okay.
I don't mind the odd stoppage, right? I don't mind the odd throw in, forward 50, Cripps goes, TDK, you stay behind the ball. I don't mind that because you set up defensively. He's in the middle taking a centre bounce, Patto. And you know that you know what pissed me off? The way Michael Voss was so happy with himself. He was the journalist asked him going, I think it was before the game last week, going, what about Cripps? And he's going, he's done it before. And it was successful. He did not win the Brownlows of Ruckman, Patto.
Exactly right.
I thought Cripper was better on the weekend. But he was still cooked at the end of the game. If you watch the Nick Watson goal, Cripper had to do a ruck contest, run to the wing, run back. Of course, it's his teammate's fault too, not being able to cover a fucking man.
Yeah.
But he had to go and chase Watson and he was cooked.
Yeah.
He was cooked. He was running on a treadmill, Patto, because he had to play in the ruck. Like, also, Cripper's probably going and putting his hand up to do it, but it's going, no. Do not go in there. I like the unselfishness, but unselfishness does not win you games, Patto, sometimes. Like, in that way. Yeah, it's just frustrating. It's just, the way Michael Voss is so happy with himself with it. It just grinds my gears.
Yeah.
Like, it just, you know what I mean? It's just that, it's that attitude towards it. It's just, I hate it.
And that's why with the camera angles last night when I was at work, it was so good seeing that because there was a vision of Cripps of that Nick Watson goal. So we had like so many camera angles, and I had a certain one, and it was when Nick Watson was kicking that goal, you could see Patrick Cripps was spent, absolutely spent. And I'm like, why is he spent?
Yeah, like it was like it wasn't even his man, and it was like 15 minutes to go in the last quarter.
It's unbelievable. It's actually unbelievable.
Who was on Nick Watson, by the way? What the fuck was going on there?
I believe it was Cowan.
How did we win the ball? How's the ball in our forward half and no one's on it? And Cripps had to go chase him for fuck's sake. Like, how much can a man do?
Yeah. Also, speaking about the Michael Voss and the press conference, this might be a long episode, but we actually haven't had a longer episode to just ramble. We both haven't really been free a lot the past few episodes, so we make sure that we would go out and ramble. But Michael Voss with the press conference when he actually came out and the guy said, are you worried about the way that you run out the
Great
corner?
question.
Oh, fucking the best question of the night. Are you worried about how you run out games in the fourth quarter? No, not an issue.
No, we had more inside 50s.
Yeah, we had more. So why are you winning games, Michael Voss?
Yeah, that should be what he's thinking. If we're getting more like the Richmond game, we had 19 inside 50s in the last quarter, and we lost.
Oh my god!
Like, how does that finish off a game well? Like, isn't putting on the scoreboard like
You
winning,
would think,
going on to probably win the game, or
and
at least firing a shot in
that's
the
probably
last quarter?
more of an issue, isn't it? If you're not
Yeah.
scoring going inside 50, that's an issue, mate.
Hmm.
I cannot believe it.
Mm.
You said it perfectly. If there is another fucking press conference this week after the game, if we lose, and he is just like, oh, no, pressure was all right. Intensity was good. Can't fault the pressure. Can't fault the effort.
God.
I don't care about that. I would rather him just walk in, say, and just start swearing. Like, there's no like you wouldn't even know that he was the most brutal player to ever play the game. You wouldn't even know that.
Nah,
If you bring a guy over from bloody Jamaica to Australia and say, this is the most brutal player that's ever played the game, he would be like, are you sure about that, mate?
Yeah.
Michael Voss is like, he's so nice. Like you said it, Sam Mitchell. If he loses the game, unsociable.
Even if they win. Fuck.
Yeah.
My example is if you look at the NRL, the Melbourne Storm are the most successful rugby team, NRL team for decades. They've made the finals every year for 22 years, right? Yep. They beat the 4 times. So Penrith have won the last 4 premierships, right?
Yeah.
Like dynasty. They beat Penrith on the weekend. Melbourne beat Penrith on the weekend. After the game, they had like a roaming Brian type thing. They had like someone in the rooms ask him, and he was on an unacceptable performance, unhappy with the performance. He said we just were complacent. He wasn't even. He didn't say he was happy with the win. He goes, "We'll take it."
Right.
That's the mentality I would like to see. You win a game and you're not 100% happy. If you lose a game, you're not trying to fucking talk about the positives all the time.
But that's successful mentality.
Yeah. And he's been the coach for 20 years. Craig Bellamy.
Exactly right. 20 years has it been?
Yeah. And they make finals every year. He's the most successful coach. Yeah.
I didn't know he's been that long. That's crazy. Yeah. And AFL, God, imagine 5 years is a long stint.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I just don't understand why it's so frowned upon. And it's literally the difference from AFL to NRL. You just feel a bit more like they don't care about what the reaction will be if he comes out and swears. He doesn't care. Yeah. But AFL, it just seems like there's such like a bubble. You're like, you can't do that. You can't do that. Like they're worried about losing their jobs. What, he's standing up for his side and saying it's not good enough and standing up for his supporters.
Yeah, and the supporters are probably happy with that. That means him saying that clearly sees obviously everyone knows the standards of the Melbourne Storm, right? They don't accept anything bad. But him saying that, you go, fuck, it's going to be a good year.
Exactly right.
Well, I think they're 3-0 and he was unhappy. Like,
that's crazy.
Well, not unhappy, like angry, but he just wasn't happy with the performance.
Yeah.
The standard's high, Patto.
Yeah.
He's not talking about pressure and intent.
Yeah. But I think what the problem is, and I think this is a good way to wrap it up, the way we want to see the people that we support, we want to see them react and feel the same way that we're feeling. We are feeling crappy after a loss, right?
Yeah.
We want to see it on their faces as well. To know that we're connected. Yep. We're united as a club. We're stronger together, as it says on that scarf that they love to say, united. We probably are, 100%.
Yeah.
But show us. We can't, we aren't in the club. We need to see when you come on for public presses or media conferences, whatever it is, come on and show us that you actually care about your supporters, that is keeping your club alive.
Yeah.
I don't know why it is so frowned upon. I don't understand.
I know. It's weird, isn't it? It's so weird. Like I know that they would be more pissed off with the losses than us.
100%.
Behind closed doors, but they seem to just put on some like a mask.
But why?
I don't know why. And it makes us have a go at him now.
Yeah.
Like, we could talk about it all day. It's just frustrating me. And I don't know why it's just consistent with every coach we've had for the last decade. Covering it up. Just masking it up after a bad loss. I don't know.
Yeah. So frustrating. And I don't think we'll try and touch on too many of the negatives because we want to make sure that we head into this week with a positive mind. But if it is another loss this week, the conversation will be exactly like this right now because we are just over it.
Yeah.
We're so over it. And I don't know what else to say. But Daf, let's head into our opposition watch. So for the people who don't know what this is, we touch on the back line, midfield and forward line for the opposition, which is obviously the Dogs this week, and touch on one player on each line, which is a bit of a threat come Friday night. But Daf, we're going to start off in the back line for the Dogs. Who have you got? Because there's obviously a Ballydale who's been playing quite well in the back line. Rory Lobb as well, who has obviously moved positions since last year. So what's your thoughts right now in your back line, and who's that threat for the Dogs?
Yeah. Obviously, they got, I think Liam Jones is probably returning this week by the sounds of things. They got an interesting defence. Rory Lobb obviously made that shift last year when he was struggling. They put him down back. He's got that length, so I'd imagine he would take Mackay. So I think I'm going to have him as my kind of one to watch in their defence. See how we can play against him. See how we can, I don't know, how we can kind of exploit him. I don't know, in a way that, it's into our advantage, especially with Harry's playing. They're both tall lads, so it'll be an interesting matchup. He's got the length, the lob, but does he have the strength? Does he have the pace of Harry? That'll just be good to watch. But yeah, I think Rory Lobb for me.
So if you think Rory Lobb goes to Mackay, who would you reckon would take Charlie? Probably Karmas or Jones?
Jones, probably.
Okay. So Jones, if
Karmas Jones goes to Silvani.
Yeah. Well, you would hope Jones is in then. For the Dogs.
Yeah, for the Dogs. Yeah. Gee, ahead of you. Yeah. In terms of other, what other backs they are? Not really tall backs, do they?
No, they don't. That's a thing.
They've got that guy coming through the twos at Buslinger. Jed.
Oh,
Buslinger.
yeah.
Everyone's talking about him, but apparently he's not ready yet. But
they
need Jones in for sure.
Yeah. So my backline opposition watch, I like Lobb as a player, and I think he's pretty much saved his career somewhat by being shifted into the back line. But the one threat I'm looking at right now, and I think it's Ballydale. His ball use off the halfback is just it's very, very elite, and he's the main distributor off that halfback flank. I know that there was a bit of conversation last year with Caleb Daniel being like, "Oh yeah, we don't know who," but now all those players are gone. Ballydale is the man on the halfback flank, and my question is, do you think we might put a little bit of attention to Ballydale if he does get off the leash a little bit? Because the more time he gets the footy, the more time he has impact. So would you reckon that could be a potential, I guess, not tag, but have some attention to come Friday night?
Yeah, I think so. I think, maybe a Fogarty.
Yeah, Fog.
Fog, I think that needs to be his role. I think he needs to almost, he's doesn't really hit the scoreboard as a small forward. So I think his pressure has to be his main thing. I thought he's been a bit quiet, Fog.
Yeah.
Been a little bit quiet. I'm not saying, everyone's been not quiet. We've been down on our, expectations. But yeah, maybe, just make him work for it. And then also make him work for it the other way around. Get a bit of the ball. I think that's the best way to tag someone sometimes. You look at Chincotta last year, some of those games where he was tagging, and he'd end up with 17, 18 touches. Because he's working both ways. He's forced. That's almost the best way to tag. You tire a guy out by forcing him to defend. I think one particular was the Port Adelaide game last year with Chincotta on Butters.
Yes.
Butters ended up with 16, 17 touches, and Chincotta probably had the same and kicked 2 goals or, whatever. That's what I want to see from Fog as well. So have that pressure, but also go, when we've got the pill, don't worry about him. Move, get him out of there, get him out of the dangerous spots, like you said, where he can get the ball and rebound. Force him deep in defence. Like we said with Ollie Hollands, I'd rather him have the ball higher up. I'd rather Ballydale have the ball if he's, 10 metres from the goals.
Yeah.
Rather than, heading into their key forwards. So, yeah, I really like that one to watch, Patto.
Yeah, I think we probably won't have much attention, but just as a forward, structure, just know that he is a player that every club has that main distributor off the halfback flank. So just be wary of it. It's not anything new, and he's not going to absolutely take the game out of your hands. But just be wary of it. If he starts to get a bit of the footy, it's not the coach's coming on and saying, make sure we tag Ballydow. It's like the forward line should just be like, okay, just make sure that you're keeping an eye on him.
Yep.
So he's not getting the footy. So, yeah, I think Ballydow is a huge threat, but I also really like Rory Lobb as the opposition watch as well. But, Daf, let's now move on to the midfield opposition watch. They are lacking there. They obviously have a few injuries with Marcus Bontempelli and Adam Treloar, and Tom Liberatoria had a bit of a injury against the Pies last week, but I think he's fine and all good to go. Yep. And obviously there's a certain player, Matthew Kennedy, who I don't know who that is. And
I've just got breaking news.
Oh,
this is almost a baggish chat first, I reckon. Harry Mackay is almost certain to miss on Friday night. I don't know what is going on there. He must be sick as a dog. What's going on there? I'm just reading it. So Harry Mackay, sorry for the interruption, but Harry Mackay is almost certain to miss Friday night versus the Western Bulldogs with Brody Kemp and Jack Silvani to support Charlie Curnow in attack. So, yeah, we're just going to have to roll with it, Patto. And it's another opportunity for Brody Kemp to, I know the initial reaction's pissed off. I don't know what is going on with Harry. Is he like I said last week, he must be fucking better be sick. He must be. He just must be like. What's your initial reaction to that? I know people watching this now. We're filming this at about 12:30 and uploading at night, so that obviously everyone will probably know the news by now. But what's your initial reaction to that?
Under the dome, Harry Mackay.
I know.
Like, shit. All right. Well, that kind of changes the. So when you probably on the episode, it would probably look quite awkward. But I was saying I was like in the midfield. Oh, there's a guy called Matthew Kennedy who's playing for the Dogs. Who's that? Who's that? I was like, oh well, this is awkward. He's not responding. Yeah. But now it's just I'm nervous about how the forward line will look now because I still feel like you can play Curnow and Silvani as the key forwards, and I don't think Kemp needs to play.
Yeah, it sounds like it though. It does sound like he will be playing.
Doesn't it?
So I guess you just roll with the three talls again. You just don't have Harry and you just have Kemp instead. Obviously, it's different, but for me, I think they've got to find a way to have Charlie inside 50 more. I think that's the key to the game. I don't want him playing high. You play Kemp high.
Yeah, play Kemp high.
Play Kemp and Silvani high. It's going to be an interesting watch now. And that's not. I just read a tweet. It's pretty. Paul Sebastiani. Shout out to him. He's a part of the whole Blue Abroad thing. He goes to the presses. He works for SEN, so he's a good guy, Paul. So if you're listening, I always say good day to him whenever I see him. So he's usually on the money with his sources or information.
Yeah, and then obviously, like if it isn't correct, I mean, unfortunately, there are sources out there that might be correct, might not be, but. I mean, we would just go off it because it obviously is a quite reliable source that Mackay will be missing. So, that's frustrating. Very, very frustrating. But also, I mean, like it might get to 3 hours. I mean, it's an illness, so you don't really know. But I want to know what it is.
Bad. Yeah, I don't know what it could be. Could it be? They haven't said much about it, so it's not like a tonsillitis or like a. I don't know. It's a bit of a worry, but.
Why does it have to happen to Harry Mackay?
I know.
But so what I was on as well about the Dogs midfield opposition watch. So they have Libba in there, they have Matt Kenny in there. I know I was kind of taking the piss out of Matt Kenny, but he's obviously a very good player. And he's now a part of that Western Bulldogs midfield. Ed Richards as well. He's a very good player and has really evolved as a midfielder. But your opposition watch for the midfield in the Dogs lineup. What are you kind of thinking there? Because they are lacking without Bontempelli and Treloar in there, but there are still a few names there who is quite serviceable to say the least.
Yeah, they got a few guys who can cause some damage in there still. Just quickly on the Matt Kennedy thing, it's I kind of find it laughable that he left because he didn't get midfield opportunity and
exact same role.
Playing a half forward, rolling through the middle, but that'll be an interesting watch as well to see that. Just to see how I just got a feeling people might, if they think correctly, might look more on the negative side of things, but I won't touch on that. I'm not much of a booer, but it'll just be an interesting watch for Friday night to see the reception he gets, because I think we all thought we kicked him out, but he was contracted. But anyway, so the midfielder, I really love him. I love the way he goes about it. Definitely a weird unit. Seems to have a new tattoo every single week. Tom Liberatore. What did he get on his arm this week? Marge Simpson or something. He's got Bart on his leg. I had the honour of actually meeting him last year through work when I was in the Dogs' rooms, and he's actually a very, very good guy. Very an interesting unit. You could tell he's an interesting unit when we were doing our interview with him. But no, I love the way he goes about it. He's in and under. He just gives you what every single week, and he seems to be hitting the scoreboard. The last couple of weeks, he kicked a ripper last week against the Pies, and yeah, he's just that bull. And I feel like him and Cripps always seem to just butt heads. They always seem to butt heads, and like it just in a good battle, nothing against each other. They clearly have the mutual respect of each other. They're two hard bulls, but yeah, it's going to be a good watch to see how we handle him. I could probably see him going to a Cripps probably or a Hewitt at times, so it'll be an interesting watch.
Yeah, no, I love that. I think Libba's probably the obvious one in that midfield. Maybe even Ed Richards to a stretch. But my opposition watch, and it's a bit of an interesting one, but there's a bit of a reason to it. Sam Davidson.
Yeah,
he's played 2 games, and like they speak about it all the time on the telecast about how he's
Yep.
I think he's studying medicine or something to become a doctor, whatever. Yeah. So the way that he is played is actually, it reminds me of a bit like an Ollie Dempsey from Geelong. Very, like, he plays half forward, but he loves playing on the wing just because you can see him in the back pocket. And then literally 20 seconds later, he's taking a mark inside 50.
Yeah.
So his work rate is very much elite. And I'm kind of glad that he's gotten that opportunity because like he obviously it shows that he's well and truly good enough to play AFL.
Yeah.
And to kind of see that he's already a part of that Western Bulldogs lineup and he's actually quite important. I think he is somewhat of a threat, and I think maybe a Matt Cottrell can go with Davidson because
yes,
in terms of his endurance, I think he can. And we can't let a guy like that off the leash because I think his endurance needs to kind of be looked at because that unrewarded running is actually quite important. So I think that's when maybe a Matt Cottrell, not tagging him, but just keeping an eye on him. So I think Sam Davidson, it is a bit of an outside one, but Sam Davidson will be my opposition watch for the midfield. Daf, forward line opposition watch for the Dogs. There's a few names down there. They aren't really lacking, except for probably Ugelhagen down there in terms of injuries. But who are you kind of looking at? Because Vandermeer's kind of reignited his career this season. I don't know if it's the blonde hair or something, man. I don't even know what's going on there. A bit of Slim Shady about that. But what's your kind of thoughts about that forward line and who's the threat down there?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think they've come up, like, obviously you were saying Collingwood are playing really well. I think they're still lacking another tall defender, like a good tall defender, Collingwood. So I feel, and then they've played against North, who it's probably their negative point, their defence, I feel. So it's, once again, we talk about our defence as well, how we can handle it. I think let's be real, I think we're a better defence than North Melbourne. I think we're up there with Collingwood. I think just a little bit in terms of in terms of Wiedering more. I think who you'd rather take, but yeah, it's you can't go away from the main guy. He was the talk of the town last week. He's massive. Yeah. He's tall. He's got the skill. I can guarantee right now, this is one of my first guarantees of season 2025 that he will be playing for $2 million a season at some stage in the next few years. I reckon Tasmania will offer him a Godfather offer, as they like to call it. I think they will offer him so much money to get him across. I don't think he will leave, but who knows? But Sam Darcy is obviously the guy I'm referring to. He was phenomenal last week. They couldn't get there. There were so many times where honestly, it's better to kick when it's above his head. Like they're kind of darting kicks, but not to his chest, but up here. Because you saw a few times where Darcy Moore would set himself to spoil the ball. And usually if he's playing on anyone else, he'd be able to spoil the ball. But he couldn't spoil the ball because he takes it at the highest point.
Yeah.
He takes it at the highest point, and there was a few times, like, it's not Darcy Moore's fault. It's just that he's so tall that you can see Darcy Moore set himself for a spoil, but he couldn't get there because he's already marked the pill. Like, it's unbelievable. It is unbelievable, his size and skill level. So, yeah, Sam Darcy for me. And I'd imagine, obviously, we've both got Lewis Young out, but I think the only way he would play is it height-wise to match with Darcy, isn't it? That's the only way he would play. You know what I mean? Would you go, like, you go a Sam Darcy? I know it's hard to think about, but it's only height-wise, but we haven't got him in. So it would have to be Wiedering for me. And then Norton maybe, but then Norton's there. I don't think Norton has the biggest impact on games like his contract suggests. So I don't think he lives. I think I'd rather him play centre half back if I was a Dogs fan.
Really?
Yeah, can take a grab. His goal kicking is a little bit wayward. Obviously, he'll kick 5 this week after I said that. But yeah, it's just going to be a very interesting to watch the matchups. Like, if we don't have Young playing, who's going to take Darcy? Who's going to take Norton? I'm not too sure. What do you reckon?
Yeah, well, now that you've said that, and now with the news of Harry Mackay, my good golly, I reckon that could be very much the change. And it would just be Lewis Young. You probably wouldn't have played with Mackay in, but now that Mackay's not in, you're playing back Kemp, Silvani up forward with Charlie.
Yep.
And then the back line, like, I know that last week we probably didn't really need that many talls, but I think we kind of do need him this week.
Like, and he got that extra height. He's just got that extra height on Darcy. He's enormous.
Huge. he's by far the tallest player in the comp, right? There's not any.
I think so. Oh, maybe.
I'm trying to think like maybe like a Liam Reedy from Fremantle. I know he's very tall.
He's huge. Yeah, I think he might be. He might be the biggest. But yeah, he's definitely the tallest key forward. There's no doubt about that.
If I check here, 208 centimeters, mate.
And he's kicking like on his right and left foot. His left foot is almost better than his right. Field kicking.
Yeah.
His field kicking on his left foot. So I heard someone talk about it. Is better than his right foot field kicking.
I'm not even kidding. I thought when he was playing like his first or second game, I thought he was a left footer.
Yeah.
I literally thought he was a left footer, and I'm like, hang on, he's taking a set shot and he's a right footer. Yeah. It's unbelievable. But I reckon Darcy Moore actually did quite a good job on Sam Darcy last week, and Sam Darcy still kicked 4 goals too. So I don't usually like to go with it with the same opposition watch, but he's the only threat down there that's really scaring the living daylight out of me. He's so good. And I would love to know what happens when Tassie comes into the comp. He will be thrown bloody so many bags to get him over. And I reckon I would throw $2 million at him over Harley Reid any day of the week.
Yeah, at the moment, yes. Yep.
Any day of the week. A key forward.
100%. And the way the salary cap's going as well, it's going to continue to rise. I think they'll both be up on around $2 million a year. And the whole thing about Harley Reid, like, fuck me. Like, let's be real. He's playing on a shit team. They're shit. Like, who is leading him? No one.
Liam Duggan?
Like, come on.
All right, Daffy Boy, let's now move on to the last segment of the, I was about to say night, but it's 12:42 on Wednesday afternoon. But the match prediction. So for the people who don't know this, we go through bagger of the game, which is who we think will be the best player come Friday night. Point of difference, which is self-explanatory, the point of difference player on Friday night. And the most important one, winner plus margin, Daffy Boy. Yeah. So your match predictions, bagger of the game, point of difference, winner plus margin. What have you got?
Yeah. Well, I didn't tip us last week, and I got that tip right. I actually changed my tip on the official tipping app I have with my family to a Carlton win. 20 minutes before the bounce. The delusion hit it. I was sitting there at the G. I had too much. You know when you have too much time on your hands, you're sitting there going, "No, we're winning this. We're winning this." Got me dinner, got me burger and chips, and I was going, "No, we're winning this stuff." And to be honest, we probably should have ended up winning the game. We were in a position to win the game. And I don't think we were far off in terms of the way we were looking at the game, that it was winnable, but we didn't. So, bagger of the game. He's had a week to get his body right at AFL level, under the roof. And this is a stat that I'm going to bring out. And my player of the game will be Charlie Curnow. He has kicked. So I looked at the stats against the Bulldogs thanks to AFLtables.com. Charlie Curnow has played eight games, 8 or 9 games against the Dogs in his career, with a record of 1-8 against the Dogs. So he's missed a couple of those wins. He didn't, So he didn't play in that win in 2019 when Harry kicked 5. Yeah, so he's 1-8, which was 2022. Kicked 5 in that game. He's kicked 22 goals in 8 games against the Dogs. So he averages 2.75 goals a game. And in his career, he has kicked 111 goals at Marvel Stadium. So there's some stats for you for my bagger of the game. It wasn't supposed to be for bagger of the game, but I was looking at it yesterday and I was going full nuff mode, Patto, like we do like to do from time to time. So that's some stats for the viewers there if you didn't know that. But yeah, my bagger of the game will be Charlie.
Point of difference?
Point of difference. I've completely forgot. I've gone full nuff mode on the stats and I've completely shut the bed. But point of difference. It feels basic to say this, but Jordan Boyd's going to be the point of difference.
Like it.
If we have him in the side and we still can't figure it out, ball use wise, I don't know. I just want to see him take the risky kicks. I don't mind if he has a couple turnovers. Take the risky kicks inboard, inside. And I heard Brad Ebert, the VFL coach, talk about it, the assistant coach talk about it. And he said he sometimes tries to bite off a little bit too much with his kicking, but he says that's what we want. We want to be an attacking brand, and that's what we want to see in our senior side. So that was kind of the quote I saw going, oh, that's what I want to hear. I want to see guys bite the bullet. Don't go long and wide and long and wide and long and wide. Someone should be giving him an option every single time with the ball in hand in the middle. Doesn't matter if you don't get it every single time. I see someone standing right in the guts going, Boydie, every single time. Give him that option because you know he will go and bite that kick off.
Yes.
I don't mind turning over the ball if it's a short 15, 20-metre kick. At least you're trying to, break open their defence. And sometimes that opens up other avenues when you do that. And winner plus margin. I didn't tip us last week on the episode because I thought they don't deserve it. And they probably don't deserve it again. But this is the line in the sand moment of the season. If we lose this game, we are in a complete shot, I think. You can always turn around a season from 0-3, but just the negative backlash that Carlton cop when we lose any type of game is bad. So I'm tipping the Carlton Footy Club 23 points. I'm tipping us by. Just get it done. We both say it every single episode. Just get it done. I want to see a good brand of football. I want to see Charlie kick 4+. I want to see Cripps have 50+. I want to see, our ball use just cut open the defense of the Bulldogs. And I want to see our mids just win the battle in the middle. Why is it so hard? Don't split it even. I want to see a domination. They don't have Bontempelli. They don't have Treloar. Get it done.
Yeah. Yep. You said it perfectly. I don't know why it is so hard in the midfield to just get it done.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They were better last week.
Yeah, but Hawthorn's midfield isn't that great either.
No.
Come on. There's no more excuses after this. But why are we saying no more excuses? Bloody hell, mate. I'm so over it. No more excuses. Oh, nah. I'll find another. I'll say, oh, nah. A bolt was loose in the roof. That's why we lost.
One of the light towers at Marvel Stadium was a little bit dim. The ball was a bit flat.
It frustrates me so much. Like, we speak about this so much more in depth. I know when we message each other. It's fucked.
Yeah.
But Love your bagger of the game, point of difference, winner pass margin. Absolutely love it. So I'll touch on mine very quickly. So bagger of the game, I am going with Sam Walsh. I said the same bagger of the game last week. Didn't see it. So I want to give him another opportunity this week where hopefully there's a bit of a change, whether it's coaching or whether it's him and his work rate getting himself free.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but it needs to happen this week. He probably is that most important player.
Yep.
He probably is our most important player at the moment because I think when we play best footy, he's always one of those guys that are best on. So Sam Walsh, back of the game, huge opportunity this week against the Dogs, and he needs to perform. I don't know how many more weeks we can give him. Point of difference, I wanted to go Jordan Boyd, but I'll go with Ollie Hollands. Playing on the wing, hopefully. But even if he's playing halfback, I still think he can well and truly be a point of difference. But Ollie Hollands, I want him on the wing so he can lower the eyes. Jordan Boyd can play the Ollie Hollands role in the back line.
Yep.
And then Ollie Hollands can play on the wing, so his ball use can be instrumental heading into the forward line. We've already touched on it in the episode, but I need to see something change ahead of the footy.
Yep.
Lowering the eyes. I don't know why it's so hard. I know Harry Mackay might not be playing this week, probably most likely not.
Yeah.
But Charlie Kerner's the exact same as Sam Dusty. Obviously, he's not as tall as him. But if you give Charlie extension and he has both of his arms extended fully, no one is getting that. Like, no one is intercepting that mark.
No.
And if it is, it's like, oh, that's pretty good. But at least we're giving Charlie the best chance possible to take the mark. Yeah. If he goes back and takes a set shot, he is kicking the goal.
Yeah.
He's our best set shot. I don't know why we make it so hard. Clear the forward. If I see another midfielder enter that forward 50, I am going.
Just watch it. People listen to this right now. So whenever we get a free kick it's only pretty much when you see a free kick, right?
Yes.
In the middle, if it's a ruck free kick, you see all of them. So all of them stream forward. All of them stream forward. You just see every single one of them stream forward. I
really don't know.
It's confusing me, but if we continue to touch on it, my head will be through a wall by the end of this episode.
Yeah, exactly right. So point of difference, Ollie Hollands, and hopefully his ball use ahead of the footy is what we need. Now, winner plus margin. Last week there was a bit of delusion with the Blue Baggers saying I think I took the Blues by I think 8 points or something it was last week. Winner plus margin, Blues by 33.
Yeah, I like.
Come on,
I want to win where we're going. We're out in front all day.
Yeah, just comfortable.
Just once. four goal buffer. They kick one, we get one back.
Just once.
And I was thinking about today. I was watching something I was watching North last week. I know it was a one-off, and people would be going, "Oh, North are going to be the best team ever." They'll probably get pants this week by Adelaide, right? They're better. But watching them just put the foot on the gas, I was just like, and win comfortably. Just win comfortably. It was just not. It was, and we've done that before, but it's just more like, can we just see it? Just consistently put away teams. Just put them away. Let's just win first. That should be the step first. But when we get to that stage when we're winning, no more like I'm sitting there going, oh, last 5 minutes, it's 3 goals. Just put the fucking foot down. But anyway, like you said with your tip, that should be a put the foot down type win.
They have injuries. We don't have a lot of injuries. Yes, we don't have Harry Mackay potentially, but it should not matter. We are, I don't know. I don't want to keep saying, repeating myself because I feel like I'm being very repetitive, but it's just, I don't know why it's so hard to just go out there and win games of footy after so many years of this list being together. I don't know why it's so hard. But, Daf, before we wrap up the episode, is there anything else you would like to touch on before we head into the Friday night game against the Dogs this week?
No, I'm looking forward to it. There'll be a bit of a nervous energy again, I think. It's our home game. Need to see people there. There's a few empty rows I could see in the Carlton members. I understand it because of the atrocious performance the weekend before. Some people probably go and fuck off for a week, just for their mental health. I understand that at some stages, seriously. But yeah, I want to see everyone there. I want to see a packed house. I want to see overraw. I want to overraw the Dogs this week. Like that round 2 game when we played them that time. It was our home. No, I don't even think it was our home game. I think we overawed them. It's our home game this week. They'll have their little section with 2 people in there with their little old scarves and their shit fucking whatever. Let's put the foot down and go, fuck off. We're better than this side. We're better than the side we've been playing as for 2 weeks. And I want to just watch some highlights for once after a game. I want to watch the minis that you put together, Patto.
I don't know. I just want to see comfortable football that we know is sustainable. The way that we played last week is not sustainable.
No.
So there just needs to be an easier way to win, easier way to score.
Yeah.
And I can't understand why it is so hard. And that is why these coaches are on so much fucking money.
Yeah, sort
it out. So people like us don't come out and say, why can't they do it? No, you're getting paid to do it. So sort it out.
Oh, I'm worried to see if we lose.
My God.
That could be our biggest ever review views ever.
I don't know what I can't even imagine it.
Oh, nah, let's just get it done.
Oh, come on. Now I'm nervous about it. Fuck.
Yeah, I know.
Just come on, mate. Seriously. But to every single blue bagger out there, even if you're an AFL supporter, if you do enjoy watching AFL, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We are very much a Carlton-based channel, but if you do enjoy listening to some footy talk, please tune in because we both love our footy, but more importantly, we both love the Carlton Football Club much more. But yeah, to every single blue barrier out there, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel, and also give some love to our podcast platforms, whether it's Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, I think it is, Taffy Boy. There's a few others out there. But also make sure to tune in to our socials, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. There's a few others out there. And also, if you haven't already, make sure to also check in the link for our merchandise as well. We launched it a few months ago, and we'll make sure to try and do some more work on it next year. But it obviously still is available. So if you would like to support the channel, that's the best way to do it. So please have a look at that if you are able to. But to you, Daffy boy, and to every single blue bagger out there.
Out the baggers.